Okay, good morning, Bore da, croeso to the business support stage for the second day. Everybody okay? Everybody happy? Anybody here yesterday? Hands. Oh, well, good. Okay, well, good. Thank you so much. Now then, please feel free to use your social media, photos, comments, whatever. There is a hashtag. We're trying to persuade and encourage people to use the hashtag. It's Wales Tech Week, obviously. So anything. The session is being recorded. And is going to be uploaded, I believe, to the higher platform later on in the week, I think, but it's not actually been live streamed. Most of the stages have been live streamed, but this isn't. So any questions? One little bit of housekeeping. There are no fire alarms planned. If there are, don't panic. I'm sure you won't. But Paul is here ready to lead you to safety, as it were. And there will be a chance to ask some questions towards the end of the session. So today, first session is called Support for Export Development. I'm sure you all know now. It's in collaboration, of course, with one of the event partners, Welsh Government. And we're focusing this morning on case studies, actually, to help you maybe consider export opportunities and strategies. Now, our chairman, he's calling himself the chief geek at Tramshed Tech. I love that. He's also known as the CTO. Now, Tramshed Tech, of course, I'm sure you all know, support entrepreneurs and businesses to not only build great products and teams, access investment, of course, find customers and support and all kinds of things. So, again, there will be a chance to ask some questions towards the end of the session. So I can introduce you, first of all, to our chairman and our panel, our chairman, Kate Methuen-Ley. Kate.
Diolch yn fawr. I'll stand here. Good morning and welcome. Croeso pawb. I've been given a speech to read. Kate, who runs the export cluster, was intended to be your chairperson this morning, but is unfortunately unable to make it. But I do have a couple of words to say first, and then we'll get over to the main part, which is speaking to Ammar and George. So good morning, and thank you for attending this session on the support provided to tech companies by Welsh Government's Tech Export Cluster. For those who don't already know me, my name is Kate Methuen-Ley, and I am Chief Geek, CTO of Tramshed Tech, and we are one of the delivery partners for the Tech Export Cluster for Welsh Government. By way of background, back in December 2020, the Welsh Government published its Export Action Plan for Wales, and setting out its commitment to nurturing and developing a thriving export cluster in Wales. The Export Action Plan is underpinned by a comprehensive suite of support that is specifically designed to facilitate the growth of Welsh exports and the expansion of the Welsh export base, especially the SME space, as well as safeguarding the creation of jobs and opportunities. One of the core components of this suite of support is the Export Cluster Programme, which focused on supporting and developing and increasing the export performance of companies based within 6 priority export sectors for Wales. In addition to the tech cluster that we lead, the other priority sectors supported under this programme are medtech and diagnostics, high-value manufacturing, clean energy and renewables, consumer products, and food and drink. We were delighted that we were chosen to develop and take forward the work of the Tech Export Cluster. In 2021, we began recruiting tech-based companies who had ambitions to grow their existing level of exports, as well as those who were looking to begin exporting seriously for the first time. The size of the cluster has grown steadily since then, and to date, we're a group of just over 40 members, I think 46 members, spanning different digital technologies across fintech, data, artificial intelligence, software as a subscription, and education tech. None of our members are exporting physical products, that is, nothing goes on a boat. We are all service-based businesses. Member companies range from relatively new and up-and-coming exporters through to those that are highly experienced and successful exporters. And as I say, we are looking to growing this further still. There's a target of 100 companies over the 4 years. Sometimes it's harder to understand export in the context of non-physical products. It's not like we're making t-shirts or cups and shipping them overseas. So we look at it in terms of foreign currency transactions. We provide cluster members with a combination of one-to-many and one-to-one support, which has been designed specifically to enhance their export capacity and capabilities and performance. We bring our members together not only to help them develop the infrastructures they need to develop their vision and goals for exporting, but also to help them develop strong networks of support via professionals, experts, and peers in order to learn from one another and share that knowledge and experience. We do this via peer-to-peer activities, expert panels, and one-to-one signposting, where we act as a conduit between the businesses, government, and the wider ecosystem of support in Wales. Over the last few months, we've been working on a cluster member-driven initiative that is focused on doing and winning business in the United Arab Emirates. We've worked in partnership with Welsh Government staff based at the British Embassy in Dubai, as well as with other experts in specific areas of securing new business opportunities in this highly tech-focused and vibrant market. As a result, we've put together a programme of activities and workshops that will be delivered to our cluster members over a 3-day virtual trade mission to the United Arab Emirates later this month. Over these 3 days, our members will get to hear about the business and investment ecosystem and opportunities in the UAE, as well as learning key pitching skills to help them penetrate the market. This initiative is designed to provide our cluster members interested in trading into the UAE and wider Gulf region with the information and tools they need to do so successfully. Indeed, this support is further enhanced by an opportunity to follow up on those leads by taking part in the Welsh Government's physical trade mission to the UAE at the end of January 2024. I'm about to introduce you to 2 of our cluster members who will give you their own personal perspective on the support they have received via the Tech Export Cluster and how it has helped them grow their exports. As a member of one of our export clusters, you, too, could get the opportunity to network and learn from like-minded businesses such as these, as well as opportunities to attend events and activities focused on removing barriers, overcoming obstacles, and exploring export opportunities in new overseas markets, such as the United Arab Emirates initiative I've just outlined. This is not a sales pitch, by the way. There is no cost to being a cluster member. So if you need that, if you think that your business could benefit, please come and speak to us later. We aim to keep our sessions and support as user-friendly as possible, as we fully recognise that time is precious, time is a precious commodity in business. I hope you enjoy listening to our 2 cluster members speak as they outline how they've benefited from our support. And that is the first time I have read from his speech in a long time. So, with me today, I'm joined by Ammar Akhtar, CEO and founder of Final Rentals. Can you still hear me, yeah? And George Bellwood, CEO of Virtus Tech. We're going to give some insights into their export journey and how Welsh Government support has aided them along the way. So Ammar, I'll come to you first. And we'll do the scripted questions and then we'll go into...
Right, okay.
So welcome.
Thank you.
Could you tell us a little bit about Final Rentals, what you do, so your elevator pitch, and where, the journey to get here?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Ammar. I'm the founder and CEO of Final Rentals. We are a car rental platform, so we help local car hire companies become digital. So people who have 60, 70, 80 cars, who have locations in suburbs or in downtowns, they work from the till. They don't understand technology, CRMs, all these platforms, and they're falling behind, versus the big brands. So my mission is to help these companies to, become digital, get online bookings, and we are exporting our technology to 32 countries, 115 locations around the world. And so far, since we have moved our HQ to Cardiff, I think we have grown almost 6.5x in the last 12 months. And Welsh Government has been, very supportive in terms of exporting, whether it's the export cluster sessions or, visits to export markets and talking to them about events where we can have our stand or we can, go and present our technology. So Welsh Gov is very, how should I say, very aggressive on export. A government that has export strategy and special export, officers who help you, export to many different countries. Otherwise, you will not be able to. Give you a small example. We were in San Francisco in March, where we were able to, meet some of the most amazing companies there, like, for example, Plug and Play Center. We met Saeed Amidi, who is the founder of Plug and Play, and the first investors in Google, because they were his tenant when they started Google. And he told us his story. It was fascinating. And also, it's fascinating to see how founders from Wales have done so much work in the export markets. Example, US. So, Alid Miles, who is the CEO of Sauce Labs, we went to his offices and it was a fantastic place. And it, as a founder, it makes you feel like, yes, if this guy can do it, I can also, do it. Why not? So I think exporting opens the world to you, opens your mind when you look at other cultures, other countries, how they have grown.
And yeah, we were there together, and it was a fantastic event. And you are doing it. So Final Rentals is now exporting to
32 countries.
32 countries, which is amazing. Tell us a little bit about that journey, perhaps the first country that you exported to, and has it got easier?
So it's fantastic, when you talk about the first country, because the first country for us was UAE. So the company started in Dubai in 2019, and we were very happy doing our business in the UAE, in all those 7 Emirates, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Fujairah, Sharjah, and all these places, and we were very happy. And then COVID happened, and we were almost shut down from April till November. And that was the time when my friends told me, you know what, you should go out of here. Take this baby to somewhere else, find other markets. And our first country after Dubai was Malta. Can you imagine? Malta, from nowhere. And in Malta, the company that owns Harley Davidson, Domino's, Century Financial, they also own Final Rentals because they wanted to have their own car rental, company. So if you ask any B2B founder, any founder in the B2B space, they will tell you it's very hard to sell. B2B is very hard. Forget about exporting. It's hard to even sell because you need to have demos, and it takes time, long sales cycle. How I have been able to do it so quickly and successfully is we do not do any demo. B2B company, no demo. Okay? All I want is to have a meeting with the owner. We chat about cars, we chat about fleet, we chat about what's going on, the economic situations, and in the end, so what can we do? Let's do it. And that's how I have sold. I'll be honest with you. Most of them's on WhatsApp video calls. So we have some places where it's impossible to sell. Imagine the Balkans, Croatia, Serbia, Romania, Albania. Let's go to Caribbean, St. Lucia, Dominican Republic. So, funny story, very quick one. In Dominican Republic, when we sold our first, let's say location, the guy signed the agreement and then he disappeared. He signed the agreement and then he was like, we're not able to catch him anymore. He will not pick our calls, not reply to emails, completely disappeared. And I said, okay, not a problem. And he speaks Spanish. He's not an English speaking person. I said, okay, something has gone lost in translation. So we called him on WhatsApp video call. He picked up the call and I said, do you need a translator or, can I continue? No, please continue. Okay. I said, what is making you, why are you scared about this? I don't know, my friend, it's online and, all the orders will come. What will I do? I said, you can stop sell the car. If you're out of stock, you can say, I'm out of stock. Don't worry about this. And I had so much data about this country, Dominican Republic. And I said, you have this big opportunity that you are going to lose because someone else will take my technology. If you're not taking, someone else will take it. Maybe not today, tomorrow, day after a month. You are losing money, and as an owner from, to another owner, I'm telling you, give it a shot. And he said, okay, can you tell me all this in Spanish by email? I said, yeah, sure, I can. And and I went to Google Translate, put everything in Spanish. He signed the contract. Fast forward today, 12 months, he's the largest earner through our platform. So he's making 44,000 pounds a month using our platform. One of our, let's say, if not the biggest, I would say our greatest sale that happened on WhatsApp video calls. And then we made that thing that, you know what, there's no protocol. Let's talk to them on WhatsApp video calls. It's okay. Let's try and speak their language if they want to have a translator, and let's sell. And I think that has really worked. So no demo. Let's have a chat on the cam, and let's do it. It's like that.
And my next question kind of leads into that. So it's what's been your biggest learning through exporting? And it sounds to me like it's about people. It's no more complicated than that. And it's connecting with individuals, building a relationship, and then continuing that.
Absolutely. And when people say that you are just another SaaS tool, it makes me cringe. Because I think I'm more of a community builder. I'm building this community of car rental owners, who are like, you know what, I want final rentals. So I think export opens the world to you. You learn so many things about new cultures. Something that is okay for you is not all right for other person, vice versa. I think it's learning about people. What is their pain point, and what really scares them about internet, and why this person never thought about e-commerce before, and why I'm the first person telling him this, that you are selling the cars on the till, relying on walk-ins and phone calls, but you can have a landing page and you can have bookings. So I think it's fascinating how people see internet as a beast, and some people see internet as an opportunity. So I think it's my job as a founder to tell them that it's controllable. So first thing we'll talk about is control. You can control everything. You're out of cars, don't worry. You have bookings, less or more, don't worry. You can control everything. And I think this message of control has really gone far.
I mean, you're working with entrepreneurs, and control is everything for entrepreneurs, right? So coming to you, George. George is the CEO and founder of Virtus Tech. Can you give us a quick little sort of intro into Virtus Tech? It says elevator pitch. And then just outline, where Virtus is in terms of the business at the moment.
Yeah, so lovely to meet you all. I'm George Bellwood. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Virtus Tech. We're a no-code virtuality platform that pretty much allows organizations to build their own immersive training content all through an easy drag and drop sort of Canva, if you like, or PowerPoint sort of platform. We've been founded in 2018, where me and my co-founder founded the company when we were at university here in Wales and Cardiff. I'm not a Welsh boy at all, although I'm a bit envious, especially with the rugby, so apologies. So, I mean, I was rooting for Wales, I've got to admit. Our sort of customer base sort of goes sort of beyond sort of any sort of particular industry. There's quite a few that we sort of serve, from sort of insurance through to healthcare, through to agriculture, etc. I think from our perspective and where we're at today is we're a young company. We're still finding our feet here in the UK, but at the same time, we've had a huge amount of opportunities to actually export internationally, especially into the US. And so we're sort of doing the hard way of tackling both continents at the same time, if you like. The Welsh Government support that we've had has been sort of phenomenal, especially this export cluster. We've learned so much as we've been going along. I was also fortunate enough to be on the trip to San Francisco on the trade mission with Kai and Ammar here. And it was a brilliant trip to GDC, so the Gamers Developer Conference. That's where we went to show some of our stuff. The most bizarre conversations we had out there was especially from a company called, an organization called CDC, so the Center of Disease Control. They came there, they're looking for ways of they can sort of educate and teach their scientists or even members of the public and how they can do it. Had a conversation with them amongst huge brands such as Meta, Pico, Unreal, PlayStation, all that, and they were blown away by what we had to offer, and they were like, Christ, is this what's happening in Wales? And we were like, yeah, pretty much. We've got some really cool technology. It's really good. So, which then led to pretty much our first sell in the US, pretty much, with a huge organization. So, thanks to sort of the Welsh Government support on that one, that's how we sort of found our feet on that.
And we should say it was kind of strange, the setup in GDC. You had Unreal, this multinational organization, a huge gaming company. You had Meta, and then next to their stands you had Welsh Government. It was quite weird, but the amount of footfall that happened as a result of that, and yeah, I think you both had really good conversations with, as you say, Centre for Disease Control would be pretty difficult door to knock down from Cardiff.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we again, there were so many different, people that were there from different organisations, very high level, high level individuals from like Lenovo, the CTO from Lenovo. The first time I've ever seen one of those, was it Ray-Ban Meta glasses that he was wearing, and going, "Can I take a picture of can I record your software?" And I'm going, "Yeah, go for it. There's no NDAs needed. It's fine. I'm really cool, absolutely." But especially we do find it a bit difficult, trying to manage and maintain it here in the UK, especially when their time zone difference is completely different. But to be honest with you, again, the support that the Welsh Government has given us and the guidance that they've given us, especially around the different regulations and policies that come with that as well. As a founder who's in sort of the tech space and not in sort of more of the IP or in the policy side of it, I've got no clue, what I'm hitting, making sure GDPR is being compliant, everything like that. Welsh Government have got it all, where they've sort of said, "Here you go, it's a free service, go for it," because again, as Ammar said, they're aggressive. They want companies to sort of shout out about their services and their products to show what Wales has got. So
Absolutely. From our perspective as well, alongside that Welsh Government support, and I mentioned it because she sat in the front there, but Department of Business and Trade at UK government level are also very supportive, and the dovetailing and working together that we see is very sort of successful. So DBT were with us out in San Francisco, and the doors that they can open as well is fantastic. I'll mention, I've got a note here that I should mention the Welsh Government Export Hub, which I'm sure you've both used.
Yeah.
Please nod.
Yeah.
And I believe it's available to everybody as well. That's not part of the it's an extended part of the program. Yeah. So it's a digital platform hosted by Business Wales that offers companies access to a comprehensive resource of expert export information, as well as delivering comprehensive series of online webinars for Welsh businesses to understand the export process and opportunities in key overseas markets, including those with which the UK has entered into free trade agreements. The emails that I receive from that system and the market reports are really useful, and they'll pull together resources from elsewhere across Europe, the UK, etc. And I'm sure, I don't know if you've had any direct experience of using those reports or opening data for you, but they're a great resource and definitely worth looking at. Okay, cool. We'll move on to a couple of other questions. So as well as CDC, you were back in the States 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, so again, another huge opportunity. We went to the natural disaster exhibition in the US. Obviously, it's a huge topic at the moment, especially with Hawaii and California big, with the wildfires going on. We had the likes of NASA, FEMA, all sorts of US Congress government there to just sort of look for what sort of aid and technology there was. And I believe we were the only Welsh company there. I think we were only one of the 5 UK-based companies actually there, which was quite crazy. But we had the opportunity through their overseas business development support that they provide. So where they will, they'll subsidise, your travel out there and everything like that. Obviously, you have to go economy class and everything like that. And they're going to pay for your first class flights. Not that I can afford to go first class. So, a huge opportunity again that we put ourselves into, and then we ended up having a good discussion with NASA, so the chief liaison officer from NASA, who again saw what we had to offer. Again, his eyebrows raised and was like, "Wow, is this what Wales really has to offer? Like, wow, this is amazing." And again, we're sort of saying yes, hopefully, So some really good opportunities there that, again, thanks to the Welsh Government, we wouldn't have been able to sort of do.
It's great. And Ammar, coming back to you. I mentioned in the monologue, we're not exporting cups, we're not exporting T-shirts. It's a digital product, but that doesn't come without some sort of regulatory requirements and foreign currency exchanges. how difficult or how easy is that today, and how much overhead is that put on the business? And
So that's a great question. So what we do is, we do not work apart from any of the top four, currencies, right? So whether it's, GBP, it's Euro, it's USD, or maximum, if it's, let's say, from the, South Asian or Singaporean perspective, SGD, because these currencies are the most stable currencies, right? So we invoice. So mostly we have people working, with us from Europe. So that's Euro, saves you the hassle, right? And then, of course, it's US Caribbean is USD, then UK is GBP, and then the rest of the world, right? So yes, you lose money, right? But my suggestion to all, the entrepreneurs is who are exporting, that you must have a Wise account, a TransferWise account, where you can use that as your money carrier. So all the money can be parked there, Euro, USD, GBP even, and then you can transfer that money to your British bank account, any high street bank, because high street banks charge a lot on the FC conversion, whereas the neo banks have been a bit nicer, right? So you will save some money on that, right? So that's my first advice. Second is, if you're able to open the FC account in the high street banks. Like, for example, in UK, it's very easy to open a GBP and a Euro account. It might not be easy to open a USD resident account. It can take some time, right? But but GBP and Euro still taken care of. USD is a bit tricky. So we use, Wise, for the USD parking, and the rest can go to the high street bank account, right?
and yeah,
And always have two bank accounts, because if you remember the SVB fiasco, we were also working with the SVB, right? And that was a dark, March weekend. I still remember, and I don't want to have that situation again. So we deal with multiple banks, and we distribute accordingly, because last thing you want is you have your capital freeze into some place that you can't really access,
yeah.
and that is happening right now with many US-based businesses who were working with the SVB US, right? And they can only have the insured money out, and the rest they have to wait. So
you've got to keep that split. And
Absolutely.
just be smart about it. And then from a sort of data security and compliance perspective, you're not handling particularly sensitive data. Maybe talk a little bit about that, and then also a little bit about the infrastructure, because I love your infrastructure, and just how simple you've kept this whole process.
So first thing first is, as a founder, it is my duty to not have data from my user that I don't want, right? Many startups, applications, they carry a lot of data that they don't even want. Like when Uber was launched, it was even recording the video and the conversations, in the car. It was like a black box, the Uber app, right? You don't want that. That's not who we are. We are founders. Our job is to make it easy for the user, be honest and transparent. So we do not take any information from the user that has nothing to do with the car rental. So what we need, driving license information, for example, if they have visa for that country, or passport information, right? That's kept separate in the offline storage. Once given, we keep it offline, and it can only be accessible when it's needed. That is number one, right? Number two is, I don't need your email. If you don't want to give your email, it's fine. I don't need your number. All I need is one notification center. How I can notify you, whether it's the app push notification, whether it's with SMS, for example, or WhatsApp notification. If you don't want to give that information, it's okay. You will not be notified. So we keep minimal data for the user, and we have this debate. Why don't you ask for more data? I don't want it. I want to keep it very, very simple. Yeah, absolutely. I don't want any risk.
It's really important as well, because data governance is a real thing around the world. You're dealing with multiple jurisdictions and systems, and you're right. Ultimately, what they all come back to is hold as little as you can, and as much as you need, and no more.
Absolutely. And also one more thing, some countries are happy with the PDF. So, if you have a PDF voucher, the PDF voucher is acceptable. In some countries, no, you have to print and sign. That's the legal contract that you have, with the transaction. So you have to respect that. So our platform understands that, and we respect that. And we ask our partners, do you allow online signatures? If you don't, it's okay. We can switch you to the printable thing and sign. That's perfectly fine. So when you're exporting, you have to respect all these customs, in that country, how the business contract works.
Perfect. Perfect. You're off to Singapore in 2 weeks.
In 2 days.
2 days. Sorry, I really wasn't paying attention this morning. Where's next for Final Rentals? What's the next big market?
The next big market, for us is, if you look at our map, where we are in the world, you will see there's no final rentals dot in beyond, Southeast Asia. So we're not in the Asia Pacific market. We haven't explored anything in the Far East, and that is something I want to change. This is something that is, we are falling behind. So the trip to Singapore, we have a stand there. Again, thanks to Welsh Government OBDV support, right? Based on that, we are there. It's subsidized. So we have set up quite a few meetings there, and we want to expand to Singapore and beyond. Indonesia, Philippines, and all these places.
And we should mention these subsidies, they really do make it accessible for companies to visit.
So, as a startup founder, one thing that you are fighting every single day is fighting with the cash flow, right? And you have to be very clever about it, where you can spend and where you cannot spend. But the thing is, we have to be everywhere, right? We have to be in every place, every exhibition. So what Welsh Government is doing is, they give you the support and they say, don't worry, book your stand, book your travel, and we will subsidize it. We will pay, we will pitch in. Let's do it together. I think that really helps. And when you go back to your investors and people who have invested in you, and you show them that I have received this support from the government, so they also look at you as a very capital efficient founder who is not just thinking about splashing the cash because I have money, and thinking of finding ways to save that £1, and that £1 matters. Maybe not today, but it will matter in the end.
It's such an important point to make that, as investors, looking for that capital efficiency, but that growth, and that's what comes. And so, George, and then I think we have a couple of minutes. So if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to flip over some questions. Where's next for some success in the United States? Where's the next sort of market, and what are the opportunities?
I mean, we've had some good interest in Singapore as well, which has been quite a thing, and again through Welsh Government that came from it. I think at the moment we are also looking at our doorstep really a little bit more, Europe especially. I think with our technology, the US is far more advanced, more open to adoption. Europe is now catching up, so I think that's our next steps really to sort of get involved.
Absolutely, and I think people sometimes forget Europe, but it's quite a big market.
Yeah, huge. I mean, it is quite crazy to think that even for like investors, you look at it and you're like, surely you would be selling in Europe first before you'd be going straight to America. And I'm like, we like a challenge, Let's just give it a go. So yeah,
it's good. Do you have any sort of questions in the room? Any questions?
Yeah, I have. Hello, Ammar. I have a couple of questions for you, actually, if I have enough time. The first question was how did you test your product to say that you were ready to mix it into this market?
So you're asking, how do we explore these markets? Like, how do we identify which market we have to go to?
How could you make sure that you are so confident that our product is ready?
Right. So, of course, when you're running a product for the first, 3 years, before exporting, it's already working in the local market. So you already have the confidence that, it does work, it does, it makes money. And then all you have to do is adapt to that local market that you want to export to. How do I identify the country that we want to go into, right? I look at it as a map, and I look at it as a FOMO, fear of missing out. So for example, if I'm in Jamaica, the guy in St. Lucia will say, I also want it. If I'm in St. Lucia, the guy in Barbados will say, I also want it. If I'm in Albania, the guy in Montenegro will say, I also want it. So look at it as regions. And that's our biggest success. We look at these things as intra-country relationship. And this is what we've done in the Balkans. So in the Balkans, if you rent a car in Montenegro, you can drop it off in Albania, it's okay. And vice versa, right? So that is something that is really powerful, making it like an intra-country, relationship. And think of me as a founder, as a foreign minister. Like a diplomat, it's diplomacy. You meet all these guys and you say, this guy in Montenegro, Albania, let's talk to each other. Let's do this, It's powerful.
Right. So your market actually depends on your previous client relationship or like network.
Yeah, you have to connect the dots, right? So find that first dot. It's very, very important. Whether it's Jamaica, whether it's Albania, whether it's in US, in Florida, it's a very big state, in terms of tourism. So you find that first dot, and that first dot is very, very important.
Right. I'm glad that you found your own cluster. Do I have time to ask the second one? My second question would be your name. The company's name is called Fennel Rentals. Sorry, still for you.
For me. Okay.
Yeah, so I have a question for George, but for the company it's called Fennel Rentals. Why? How'd you come up with that idea? Called Fennel Rentals.
So the name Final Rentals is with me since 2010, right? When I was working in budget, it has been with me since many, many years. The word final came with the idea that when customers were renting a car, with budget, right? They were always saying, this is not final. What they mean is the price was not final. When they were on the counter, they felt that it was a surprise. Always there was new price, something else was there, some kind of surprise. And I'm like, if I will ever open a company, it will be called Final Rentals, with the idea that everything is final. Like what you see online when you're booking a car, the price is final, when you reach the counter. And many of my friends said, this is not going to work. It's a negative word, final. It's like a final journey, like we are dying or something. And I said, for some odd reason, I always felt it works. And funny enough, now 32 countries wear my shirt with the name Final Rentals.
Perfect. Thanks for your answer. Sorry, last question. Sorry, do you have any questions? Just last question for Emma. So UK is kind of like big and small country, I would say. Why would you choose Wales to be your headquarter?
So thanks to the DBT, the person sitting behind you, Sean. So DBT has given me this thing called Innovator Visa. So I'm a part of the GEP program, right? And there you have people who help you identify the region. So my person of contact was Eamon Tuhami. He is one of the very big investor and influencer in the Wales. And I'm a vibe person. So the moment I landed in Cardiff Central, I said, this is my home. And I have been everywhere, Birmingham, Coventry, Manchester, London, all the places. And the moment I landed here, I'm like, you know what? This is it. This is my Silicon Valley. If not, I'll make it one.
Yeah, it's perfect. What a great way to finish. So thank you both. I think great panel, and thank you all for coming. We're around for a little bit, so yeah, if you would like to talk about the export cluster, more than happy to do so.
Thank you guys, thank you very much. Kai, you have to apologise for the spelling of your name. I think we might have to change that. Kai Gwinnett. Oh, really? Oh, is that your spelling of your name, Gwinnett? Oh, okay, sorry, my apologies. Okay, fair enough. Right, so thank you for joining us. Come back, I think it's 11:15. Now, this next session is mystifying to me in itself. Demystifying the applications of blockchain. So please, by all means, come back and join us at 11 o'clock. 11:15. So for now, thank you so much for joining us and enjoy the rest of the day. Round of applause for our panel.